Caterpillar just coming out with its earnings. The shares are plunging after the company came in with earnings of $266. That was well below the $288 the street was expecting for earnings per share. Revenue also well below at $12.8 billion versus $13.5 billion. Joining us right now is Rob Wertheimer. He is the founding partner at Melius Research. And Rob, they're lowering their guidance. Lots of bad news here. What happened? Yeah, well, so we'll see if it ends up bad or not. So what happens is, as the economy has been getting a little bit more uncertainty there, dealers have decided to take down their inventory. So CAT has independent dealers. They buy stuff from CAT. They sell it to people later on. And the worst thing you could have, honestly, is if they keep taking that up. If you get too far behind the curve on stocking up and then you have to cut later. So realistically, this is what you wanted to see. You wanted to see them take fast action. That doesn't mean it's good, but it means it's, you know, they're not getting behind the curve. You want them to take fast action, but it's not what the street was expecting. That stock's been up over 13% just over the last 2 weeks heading into this, as people thought maybe the news would be a little better.
Yeah, we've seen mixed reports out of industrials. I think there's been inventory all throughout the system that's been coming out, right? So as people have sort of acknowledged that and taken it down, that's been, you know, okay. For CAT, we cut estimates a month and a half ago or so. We saw in some of our data products that the production looked like it was coming in. We saw that as a positive. Now, if end demand isn't there, that's not good, right? But if we just sort of do an adjustment.
They said that end demand is weaker than they had anticipated.
Yeah, still not down a lot, right?
No,
but a little bit weaker, right?
Up,
so
but just weaker
than expected. So that's not yet terrible. Doing the right thing, but it, you know, still could go either way.
If they're down 5% on this news, does that sound like a buying opportunity to you then, or
yeah,
you want to take a wait-and-see approach?
We'll see how the market reacts. But no, throughout this quarter, we've had some pretty weak results, and we've seen that you know, the stock market's kind of come in. Investors are looking for estimate cuts. They're looking to get ahead of this sort of, you know, overhang of, you know, inventory, et cetera. So if we can sort of get through that, I'm not sure it's necessarily a bad thing.
You could look at that. Well, now we just changed it, but if you look at the chart, it looks like comments about the trade war. It's like, oh, we're going to get one, we're not going to get one. We're going to get a deal with China, we're not going to get it. You might get a deal with China, you're not getting a deal with China. But it's, I mean, is treading water good in this environment? It could be worse.
It 100% looks like the trade war. And honestly, I think that confidence has started to weaken as that just drags on and on and on, right? So we've been whipsawed back and forth and back and forth. If we could get a resolution, that'd be a plus. In the meantime, we sort of hold in there. Yeah.
And if anything's weak and has people worried about recession, it's the manufacturing sector, but there's other things that aren't in line with what's happening in manufacturing. So this is probably not that big a surprise either.
Not a shocker. I mean, again, we've seen it. We've seen the trade war led people to bring in inventory, you know, buy a little bit extra. Who knows what's going on? Let's make sure we stock up ahead of tariffs, and that's coming back out of the economy right now.
Who else do you cover? Who else is in your universe?
So we do machinery broadly, so Deere, truck stocks, Trimble, things like that.
As a result of hearing this, because Caterpillar is blaming global economic weakness, what do you do with all the rest of those stocks?
Look, again, I think estimates, investors are waiting for estimate cuts, right? Yeah. So there's been an anticipation of all this, and so so far this earnings period, the stocks have actually held up pretty well in the midst of some cuts.
You think Caterpillar is well run? It's got a good management team? It's just being hit with forces outside its control?
They've done a very good job this short little upcycle we have. And keep in mind, this industrial upcycle has not been great. Mining's not all that great. Oil and gas is not all that great. And construction's okay. It hasn't been a powerful upcycle. Their margins have been really exceptional. They've done a great job. We'll see how they can manage the other side, the turn, if we have one.